guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hugo Meza, and today we're going to talk about a specific topic, a little bit outside of the review gear or trying gear, POV, photography kind of thing, and talking more of the photography journey that some of us sort of decide to take and the different approaches that we can do, and two mainly specific ones that sometimes I hear from time to time from people talking about either decide to become a photographer and learn everything from YouTube, which is an amazing tool that speeds you so much information in front of your eyeballs through the lovely screen of the device that you're using. And believe me, it's amazing what you can find, you can do, but sometimes maybe that's not for you, or maybe you're in the middle. You kind of sucked all the information out of the YouTube channels and online, but you also like to have that reinforcement of having this individual or mentor or teacher to sort of help you in other ways that the limitations also of social media, which they are, especially right now with what's going on with COVID-19 and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like to connect with certain people, with web calls and stuff like that. But it doesn't replace having that human one-on-one or a group of individuals, in one space and talking and interacting. There's just different dynamics. So it depends on you, but I'm gonna tell you my really specific journey. And out of this video, I'm gonna show you some of the pictures related to what I'm gonna, the little experience that I have. The first conscious decision for me to go and okay, I wanna take a photography class. Prior to this, I always feel interested in any way to sort of express myself visually. Unfortunately, didn't have a family sort of support or encouragement to nurture them and further explore. So I had to wait a little bit longer in my life, to decide to okay, I don't care whoever whatever people say about this. I'm just gonna try and explore their passion and love for expressing myself visually. So this wasn't back in 2012. I was in college. I was studying what in Mexico is called communication, which I know from my understanding US it's not called like that, but it's this sort of the major that relates to used to be you're gonna be a radio host or a TV anchor, stuff like that, that related, which this major, from my understanding and from back in the day, what teachers were telling us, it's it's evolving, it's going through a more deeper kind of approach, which any major probably has that every once in a while. It has a new route, the world evolves and whatever. But anyways, one of the classes was photography, and I have to say it was pretty quite disappointing experience. And there were certain elements, because I don't want to come here, I'm venting a little bit, but also there were certain factors that sort of make that experience the way it was for me, which wasn't positive for the most part. So one of them was the teacher, obviously, and I'm gonna go through that more. The second of it is I want to try, but I wasn't sure. So from part of the course, I have to admit that I was joking around. I wasn't taking 100% seriously. And probably that was because some drawbacks from the initial experience, and then I don't want to keep going with that. So probably those two elements combined to sort of, make that experience awful. So talking about the teacher, I'm not going to say names or anything because that's not the main point, but you can be in my position where you want to okay, I want to try a live class, go to a classroom and learn about this as much as possible. And big part, or I feel like a crucial important part of a class success is the teacher. Is he there to try to teach me what he likes, his view or art and visual content creation, the way he sees it, and like, you know, you may like something else, and he's like, oh no, you know, don't waste your time, that's crap. Because it happened in this specific class. One of the points that was pretty painful at first, it's a right away she just starts seeing from the first few projects like, oh, this guy has talent, this guy has talent. Okay, I'm gonna focus on these people that clearly has talent, and everyone else, you know, I'm gonna scoot up on the side. On my book, that's crappy. You know, I pay money for that class. It wasn't like free. And then, I mean, I can understand, like, maybe she saw like all these guys are not gonna take it serious. But I feel like as a teacher, and it's not that I'm a teacher, but somehow, you know, I'm being in that position to like, okay, I'm gonna pass some information because this person want to learn something from me. So I feel with the responsibility in a way to engage them. I mean, these videos, you know, it's like, it's as much as nobody's getting me money to put this content out. I feel like that responsibility, like, you know, you want to engage with these people. I try my best. So from the get-go, this teacher just choose the best of the best. And granted, I'm not gonna even deny it, these guys, like, you can tell right away, like, oh yeah, damn, your photography is amazing. Like, I want to do that, but there weren't any encouragement, there were any push or interest from this teacher. Like, I remember one of the major projects that we did, again, granted, I wasn't nearly as good, and even to this point, I don't consider myself like amazing. I'm always trying to improve, but like, you can tell, it was like my initial baby steps, point to something and shoot. No thinking on composition, color palettes, you know, all this stuff that we know, or a lot of people know about photography. You know, those key elements to understand how to arrange things in that square to make a good photography or engaging photography. So granted, I didn't have that at all. And like I say, you're gonna see some of the photos. There's one or two that I can start feeling a glimpse, like, okay, now it makes sense now that I've been doing this for a while, and certain patterns repeat, what I like and what kind of emotions I want to convey with, you know, specifically with my photography. And so yeah, that was awful. That main project, I did it. Now that I see those photos, I'm like, yeah, I can understand. Maybe to this teacher with this kind of pride is like, this is not worth my time to teach this guy. But that's not the point. The point is, like, I feel also another big part of being a teacher is sort of focus your students and, well, sort of guide them to like find what this guy likes, how he can improve. There was no feedback at all. She said like, this is bad. And I was like, okay, it's bad. I could take it. I'm sort of a thick skin at this point in my life, so I can take it. Can you tell me why it's bad? Can you explain me how it can get better? Any recommendation on what to do, what to read? You know, any sort of feedback. It wasn't anything. It's like, you know, the only answer I get back is like, you should figure it out. And from that point on, if I wasn't 100% engaged in this class, I was lost right there. It's like, okay, fuck it. I'm not gonna put all these, you know, effort to just have like, this is wrong. And I'm not gonna tell you or guide you to sort of, you know, try to make you a better photographer if you're interested. So that was like pretty bad. And it was 6 months of that because, you know, I still have to do everything in the class to get the grade and not, you know, affect me at the end of the semester. But it was awful. It's like, that's not what you expect when you're paying money for the class, and you have this initial, like, you know, kick of energy, like, yeah, I want to do this. And actually that was one of the main drawbacks for me to just leave film photography in specific, because that class was still on film. I don't think they have that class anymore in that school, but yeah, it's like, oh no, like, this is awful. Like, film photography is awful. That's how I left that class. Like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm not coming back, lady. Unfortunately, and this is the good thing, I'm putting like the worst case scenario class you can have. And then after a couple years, my wife insists like you should try again. Like it's a school in Oceanside called Miracosta, and kudos to my teacher. And to me, it's a big part of. It's one of those persons that really. Yeah, that's how I feel a teacher should be. It's like guide you. It doesn't try to force you to one thing or another. Like she actually saw my initial work and like, okay, like here it is, like the right away. It's like here it is. Watch out these photographers. I feel like it will be a good, nice kick in your interest on getting better as a photographer. And like I can see certain things of what you're doing right now, what you present your work that looks like these photographers, and that was amazing. Like miles away from any other experience. So her, and of course, it was great. It was amazing. Kudos, Christina Reese. She's an awesome artist because not a photographer. She's also do plastic art and just art in general, like presentations and stuff like that. So that's great. And that was the whole opposite. I feel like I went from zero to like I did a big jump on my photography because I understand the basics. While the other teacher in my negative experience, she always just, okay, it was kind of like a flashy classes where like, oh yeah, these amazing photographers do these and these and these. But I was like, can you give me some like how this guy did it, or any of the basic of lighting, composition, palette colors, what you like, what you don't like as a photographer, and by that extent as an artist. And with my other teacher, I did that in 2016. Yeah, it was just a total change. Granted, it wasn't a film photography specifically, but she didn't care. It was a digital. But if you will bring like photos taken on film, she will be fine. Like she didn't care about what tool you were using. It's like I'm caring more about the vision or the end product, what you are trying to express and portray in your art. So that was great. It was amazing. So all that, I mean, in a way, I'm glad that the negative experience happened. So at least like, okay, I don't want this. The only problem, difference of YouTube is you can stop a video. Don't throw hate. Just stop the video and get to something else that you like. That you feel like you're connecting with that person that is showing you that content. While the classes, there's parts that you can get refund. Some, not all of them. And in Mexico, there's not a big culture of like, oh yeah, I'm returning you my money because you didn't like the service. It's kind of different than here in US, where there's a little bit more flexibility of that. But yeah, that's in general my experience on photography so far, taking classes. My advice for you is try both. Like I know sometimes money is tight and you cannot afford to get a class, but YouTube is an amazing big community. There's so many amazing content about this, not just photography, but like any topic that you want. I will say personally, me personally, I wouldn't go entirely, or at least the way I learned from being a kid and being in the system, going to the classroom and do this and that. I have to push myself to be more self-taught in a way, going around and researching online, which is not that hard. You don't need to be a genius. Google, YouTube, like so much info, really, on your hands. So you don't have a big excuse unless there's a big factor that doesn't let you sort of learn or something, or some of that kind of nature. But yeah, I mean, to me, I still sometimes have the need, or I kind of learn more when I have in that environment. Like my brain is wired to have that mindset. Like you're in a classroom, you have to focus, you have to learn as much as you can. And that sort of environment sometimes is helpful, especially when you have positive experiences. Like they reassure you, they nurture you, and also, like I said, having a good teacher can become an awesome mentor to guide you on what you want to achieve. Not everybody were like geniuses, like, oh yeah, like I have this vision, this is what I want, and this is what I like. It is a long process sometimes to To me, it's kind of like, I self-discover myself through the photography and the video work that I do. And it's been a great tool also to deal with certain things in my life. So that's a part that has been so positive to me. But then also you can have these destructive environments with other people that like they have these expectations and way of teaching, which it's fine, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's not like, at least, I mean, not even today. That's not something that I'm looking like. There's so much sort of hate sometimes online, and then real life still like have that back. And back in the days, the online thing was still in diapers. Now it's more mature, and like, you have to deal with hate and criticism that's not really criticism, it's just trying to bash you. So sometimes just you need to take a big drop, a big intake of air, big breath, let go, and continue. And that's it. If you're looking for you need to be honest with you, like what kind of environment works better for me. Some people like go online, especially younger people. It's not like I'm all super old, but the fact is, like, they become easier to become second nature the younger you get, these kind of technology these days. But yeah, read books. That's an amazing way to sort of develop your eye, seeing others people work, and have an open mind. It's so funny how these two experiences happen a couple of years apart, but it could easily went to another failure class, because it was a risk for me at least. But having these two opposite sides, where one is just, I feel like it was a more old school kind of way of thinking, which I don't agree. Shouldn't bash somebody. Like, if you're gonna criticize and tell somebody like you're wrong, I feel like you have to also come up with like some sort of a fix, or a way to help, instead of just saying like, oh, you're wrong. Which with my other teacher Christina was amazing. It was she never pushed anything onto me. So it's a risk sometimes. Sometimes it's a cool, awesome experience, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's how it is with classroom classes. But at least I'm sharing this so you kind of learn a little bit from my experience. Tell me in the comments what you think. Maybe I was too whiny. I don't know. I don't think so. Just keep learning your own pace, and choose what you want. Don't feel pressure. Experiment with what you want mostly. Just follow your gut, and things will fall in places. Also, if you want me to start doing a few videos on like live video production, again, I'm not an expert, but I study all these things, and that's what I'm doing. So if you have questions, or you want me to talk a really specific topic about video related stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Sorry the video went a little bit long, but this is more like a chat with you guys and sharing some photography live stuff. Probably you feel related to that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. Remember, load, shoot, develop, and print, and repeat. And we see to the next video. I know it's been monthly. Probably because of this COVID-19, I will ramp out a few more videos soon. Stay tuned, and let me know what you want me to talk. Well, if you have one specific video you want me to try, experiment a film, cameras or stuff, let me know. So have a great time, stay safe, until the next one, adios.